y'all. Welcome to 40 In. This is your girl, Kiki.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan. We're here.
We're here. We're back.
Yes. It's good to be back.
It's great to be back. Thank all of y'all newcomers. Thanks for supporting us thus far. Keep sharing. Spread the word about us. We trying to level up in this thing.
Yeah, for sure. What we talking about today?
Today is 40 and fucking. So just kind of let's talk about how life is being 40 and like getting back in the dating pool and partnerships and intimacy and
it's
all
what
that
everybody's
good shit.
been waiting for.
Right.
They want to know.
All the tea.
Y'all fucking, what's it like?
What's life like? Yes. But besides that, let's do a quick check-in. How have things been since, we last seen the people?
Yeah.
This past week?
Things have been good. We're in full-time parent mode. So we got both our girls here. That's amazing. It's hot, which I love. Coming from Minnesota, everybody's like, "Oh, are you sick of it?" No.
No, love the heat.
Like, love it.
Love the heat.
We'll give it a couple years and I might get a little tired, but I will take 97 degrees and 90-degree humidity over -10 and -30 wind chills every day of the week and twice on Sunday, as my grandma would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's been good. Timberwolves didn't make the finals, so I'm disappointed in that, but
he was going hard, y'all. We had to watch these fucking games every night. Like every night. But I ain't gonna lie, I was rooting for him.
You
like,
were in there.
I was like, we Minnesota's finally doing their big one. I thought they was gonna do their big one, but hey, we had a good team.
You were in there.
We had a good team.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel good. What about you? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Definitely I feel like we're in our groove, like you said, with the kids. So we got summer camp and schedules and activities. On top of we're still working, we don't get summer break.
We do not.
The 9 to 5 grind is definitely still there. But it's been good. We're pup sitting for our cousin's dog. So we got 4 dogs running around this bitch right now. So that has been a little bit of a shift.
If you see us look down and you hear something, it's one of them.
Yeah,
one of them dogs.
Yeah. So we got 2 little wiener dogs, and then we got our pup son Ali, and our daughter Rio is back. Yes. Our little she poo. So listen, this is definitely
it's a full house.
It's a full house right now. But no, it's good. We just celebrated Juneteenth. That was fun. I'm feeling really exhausted, just tired. I feel like I haven't had enough sleep. But then it's
that's
like,
because we haven't.
I know, but you can't.
Not.
We just keep going. But other than that, life is good. I really can't complain. Yeah, life is really good.
What's up? Yeah. Let's get into it.
The check-in
is over. Yes, 40 and fucking. So I remember the first time that I met your mom. What's up, Sherry? I hope you're listening to this right now too. Because, well, actually, no, let me take that back. It wasn't actually the first time I met her. The first time I met her, we were dropping off like some cigarettes or something for her. And
it was a
she
date
was just
night.
like, "Hey, baby, you could put them right here." And she was up on the balcony of your aunt's house because they were over there playing spades or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, you're cute for a white boy, and like, you better treat my daughter right." That was the first time.
She was popping her shit right away.
I met Sherry. Well, we actually had a chance to talk. The first real question she asked me was like, "So is it true if you go black, you never go back?" And you had said she was asking about like, what's it like to sleep with a white guy and all that. So we got some tea for y'all, and obviously the Patreon is going to get even more of the tea. So we want to encourage everybody. Subscribe to this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the love. Subscribe on whatever platform you're listening, Apple, Spotify, whatever. But then, yeah, do check out because we're going to get into all of that.
For all the juicy deep.
Yeah. But so like what was, I want to start with like, and then we'll tell some stories. Like what were your first thoughts about the possibility of us fucking?
Well, again, they were null and void because initially I had friend zoned you.
I mean, when it was like, oh, this might Yeah, we got that. We don't spend some episodes on like he was just a friend
Oh, okay. I'm like,
on
well,
my
I
Mario
wasn't
and
thinking of.
Bismarcky shit. Like, no, when it became like, oh, so let's start there.
Okay.
When did that happen? When were you like, oh, I'm getting some of that energy?
Okay. Well, I mean, shit, we had been talking for about like dating. Shit, it was like 90 days, legit 90 days. And so, it was, matter of fact, it was the end of Black History Month, y'all. What? And we had went to, Wakame.
Oh.
It had kicked it, and it was like, I don't know if it was prior to then. I mean, now it's just like all the days and shit has just kind of started running in.
Well, I remember our first kiss was I sent
We went to
you on like,
Chimborazo. That was the first kiss.
no.
Yes, it
That was
was.
my birthday.
Yeah,
The first kiss was Valentine's Day.
was it?
I think so.
No, your birthday's before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Right, so that was the first time because you dropped me off in the back. So that's when you
That's
met
right.
the twins.
Yes.
Because Hassan and Brittany was coming from some gala.
Okay.
And Mylan and us had met us out. Yeah. So I was like, okay, he done took me on another nice little date. Let me not shade him. Okay. And so
Maybe Valentine's Day then was I was like, oh, it might go down. It could maybe go down.
Valentine's Day was the second. So the first time. So I was like, okay, you took me on a date.
So hold on, you weren't feeling me with the first kiss or even through that? You were like, nah, it wasn't gonna happen.
It wasn't a priority. I still
Was it charity? You know I don't do charity.
It wasn't charity. It was more of I felt like it was a nicety, like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
A nice gesture. It was
Okay.
it was a grand gesture for me in terms of, so it was like a peeling off a layer, like,
All
okay.
right. I was chipping away.
Yeah, like,
All right.
okay. He's been consistent.
That's where your heart should be.
You're stupid.
Okay. All right. Get back to the story.
You were peeling away the layers. You had
Get
been
back to the story.
consistent. You weren't showing me any type of behavior where it was like you just trying to get the draws. Like, I'm doing this to get the draws. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, previous to us dating, I was being very upfront with dudes, and I mean, shit, and I was getting upfront dudes too, where it's just like, well, shit, you trying to fuck around? I'm like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So keep it pushing, whatever. So I'm like, okay, is he just being strategic on how he trying to get the draws, or what's the angle?
I always said I don't have no game, so it wasn't.
You
like,
got all the game.
I
in my
got
Ice
no
Cube
game.
voice.
I got no game.
So yeah, so it was just like he was slowly, you were pulling the layers, and so I'm like, okay, this was a nice outing. Okay, I guess. Remember, because I told you I felt like we had always kind of like text and just talk randomly just about previous encounters or just sexual things, just whatever.
We had we were building a friendship.
We were building
had
a
real
friendship.
conversation.
So I'm just like, motherfucker, you better not put your tongue in my mouth, because I just think that's nasty.
I do remember that.
Rip,
I do remember
like,
that.
That is so gross, because most people, I feel like in most situations, you have to teach people how to kiss you, because everybody likes to kiss differently.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I'm just like,
I was a heavy tongue guy.
and I was like, and that would gross me out, and then I just would have been done. Like, ugh. He didn't put his tongue in my mouth, nasty, sloppy, gross. So I was like, do not do that. Like, you got to work into that, because most people be trying to.
We had talked about that before, so
you.
thank God I didn't do that at first, because you had told me you're not a.
Well, because you were like,
do
well,
that.
what do you mean? How do you kiss? I'm like, what you mean? How do you kiss, motherfucker? You just kiss. You ain't got to put your tongue all in somebody's mouth.
Look, okay.
So, now
I'm
that's
interested.
what
Do y'all use tongue? Where does tongue come in for y'all? So let us know.
I feel like not on the first time. Don't do it.
Oh, I can get that. Okay.
I think it's nasty.
The first session, maybe not the first kiss, but like a makeout session.
No, not the first kiss. I'm talking about our
I can get with
first
that.
kiss. I feel
Yeah,
like that throws things off.
Well,
like,
you could build up to it though.
Because then I get to think about how you use that tongue. I don't like that. Like, my mind just goes down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
So, anyways, so yeah, we had our first kiss. And then, Valentine's Day we went out, and that was definitely the second kiss. I felt like you thought you was gonna get some. I'm like, nah.
It must have been that's the day that sticks out. Like I must have been like, oh, it could go down.
Yeah, I was like, it's not going down. You're like, well, I'm gonna go home if you're just gonna be on the couch watching TV. I'm like, well, bye.
I said that on Valentine's. I had seafood for the first time. I was extending myself.
Well, I was trying to kick it. If anybody knows me, I'm literally a vampire. So
No,
my
you really
ritual
are.
would be when Kennedy was not home, that's when I binge watch. So I'm on the sofa. I smoke my herbal refreshments. I have my snacks. I might light the fireplace and I'm focused. And I was trying to invite him. I called it my little tent. I was trying to bring him into my tent. Like, come in my fort. Like, sit on the fort.
It's funny now knowing you a little bit more. I'm like, damn, I really fumbled the bag right
He
there.
did. He didn't want
could
to.
have led to some
He
shit.
didn't
and I
want
really
to sit
fumbled
in
the
my
bag.
fort. He's like, well, if you're just gonna be up, I can. I'm kind of getting tired. I
I
can
tried
go
to put
home.
my foot down.
Well,
not
put your
doing
foot
this.
in your mouth and took it out the door. So I was like, all right, well, bye. In the words of Corey, bye. I'll see you later. And I still had a grand old time
No, I'm
after
sure
I had
you
a
did.
great chakra massage, had a great seafood dinner, and
Yeah.
I think we went to Insomnia Cookies, had
I'm
some
sure.
good cookies.
Yeah.
So I rolled one, smoked some, fell asleep,
And
probably woke up
knocked
at
out.
5 a.m. and went and got in the bed. So I think I was slowly getting the idea of like, okay, what would it be like? I think most guys don't know. Like, most times when we talk to dudes, a woman's mind often goes to like, damn, I wonder what he's like in bed. Yeah. Like, based off like voice or, whatever thing is attracting you to that person. Like, what that dick do? Wonder. So it took me a minute to get there.
I do remember where I was like, we were at Handsome Hog before it moved to Selby when it was still downtown. And we were talking about something like about sex some way. And you said something like, you only like elite shit. Yes. And I remember, y'all, I was so panicked. And I remember, cause I'm like, damn, what the hell? All right, when I tell my story a little bit, you'll understand more. But I was panicked. Like, what does she mean by elite shit? What does elite mean? I was asking all the questions. But I remember I said something, and it came up about size. The size matter. And everybody, they're thinking it right now. Like, what's up? How big are his feet? Type shit. And I remember I saying, whatever it is, what it is. And
are you going to say what the question was?
did I ask you if size mattered?
Yeah, but how you framed it.
See, I don't remember. You might
do.
remember. I remember the most important part for me was like, yeah, but it ain't the pencil. It's how you write your name. And you were like, nah, I could teach a motherfucker how to write his name.
You said, is it the size of the pencil or how you write your name?
That makes sense.
I'm like, size of the pencil?
Yeah, you were very, very clear. It was the size of the pencil.
Size of the pencil.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I got to think about, how you had your favorite pencil and you used to fucking sharpen that motherfucker till it wasn't right.
I don't know how to take it.
Everybody had that one person in that class
You're clouded.
where that motherfucker, like, if you don't get a new one,
You just holding on to the metal piece from the eraser. Hey, it writes good.
but that motherfucker wrote bomb. There was no other one like it.
It writes
I'm
good.
telling you.
It gets
So
the job done.
that's where my
Giving
mind
you
went.
A's. Oh, shit. Okay, so hold on. Let's get back to it. So when was it like, oh, no, I got a little thing for him. Like, I like him. He's cute. I might be able to. He's fuckable. When was I fuckable?
Oh, when were you fuckable? I mean, obviously, like I said, it was coming out of it was the wrap of Black History Month that we had went out. And again, that wasn't even like, oh, I'm a plan it. Like it wasn't planned. Right. But that was the night we decided to be like, all right, should we have good drinks on deck? We had went to Wakame, and then your homeboy was DJing the set at
That was the first night I was fuckable?
No, that wasn't the first night you were fuckable. Retray. Okay. But I'm saying in terms of like where I'm like, I'll say I wasn't in my head about it or like.
Look at y'all here. I was very shook, right? That was genuine shookness.
So no. I feel like as we continue to talk just up until that point, they'll be like, oh, okay. Because he would always allude that, he just gave the best head. So
okay,
I'm
I was
just
gonna
like,
say, I never talked about the dick game, but I did say.
No, he always alluded, So I'm looking like, well, his lips are pretty thin. So
I always thought I had good lips.
He's got slits.
I feel like I have good lips, but whatever.
This is a thing he and I go make a fortune about. This motherfucker walk around looking at him like he LL. I'm like, what are you doing?
Quit lying on me right now. I do not.
No, I'm
And then when she says it, of course, I'm licking my lips right out there drying. Is anything?
You need water. Yeah, so that would be a thought. Like, okay, he keeps alluding. So I'm like, I'm used to, guys
I can't imagine what I would say.
full of lips. I mean, you just always would, make little comments like, I got the best head game. That's
not an alluding. That's very explicit. I don't think I ever said that.
No, you're slick with words. So it would be something, clever. Okay. Clever, sometimes corny, but you
it might have been just that I wanted to do that. I don't know.
Knowing you, yes. Yeah. But he's quick on his feet with the words. So it would be some sort of comeback. That's how I be like, and you ain't got game. But I always be like, okay, what them little lips do? Because,
Not the little lips. I'm out here thinking I'm working with something and I got little lips.
Little lips. LL. Little lips.
You're fucked up for that.
I don't know. So my mind would go there sometimes. But also, I mean, during the course of our time, if we want to get into it with the people again, when you and I had met, I had told you in terms of like, how do you feel about, being poly? Because I was talking to, again, I had a roster, y'all. So I was talking to a guy on a, I don't want to say super serious note, semi previous to us kind of hooking up. And he opened my mind to that because he was coming out of a poly relationship. And I'm like, I can kind of get with that, Yeah. And again, let me put this out there. It's like rules to whatever people want in their relationship is for whatever you want in your relationship. So number one, I don't think we subscribe to like we're poly. We're more openish. We're openish. You know what I'm saying? And so we're not traditional. We're definitely not traditional. So for me, that was big. So at the time, I was kind of dibbling and dabbling. So I also think the sexual aspect wasn't coming to mind because it was like, okay, well, I was still kind of fucking on somebody at the time. But then that was just like, this ain't really hitting. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we just gonna have to cut everything. So, when you and I start fucking around, it was like, oh, it was a clean slate.
That is really.
It was a clean slate. But I'll definitely say being, almost to the age of 40 and just getting back into the swing of things, just like it was odd, like sleeping, like I had been with my baby daddy for 10 years. So sleeping with someone for a decade to now getting back into the dating pool and like, at first it was like, yes, it's sounding bomb. And I'm just like, I can't wait for a new nigga to touch me and this, that. And then when they don't know what they doing, you're like, wait a minute.
You got to learn people.
Yeah. And so it was a Debbie Downer. And so I was trying to go through my little whole phase. Like if I'm feeling you in that aspect, like, oh, okay, we can do the do.
Yeah.
And then the dude was not doing. Oh, no. So then, yeah, there was a stint of time, shit backslid. Then I was fucking back on my baby dad just to get my rocks off. Then I just was like, enough is enough. And yeah, shit, I don't want to say celibate, but shit, I hadn't had sex for shit. It was like 8 months. Like,
that sounds like my marriage.
Yeah. Drag.
Look. Well, I will say one thing before I move on. Maybe that's a good segue to my stuff. But I remember when we were talking and conversation started to veer more towards that a little bit more. And my competition was always Bob, that battery operated boyfriend. Like, I'm like, all right, maybe I can get a little pic or a little video. but that was my comment. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes, that was my boyfriend at that time. Well, because I just got to a point like I'm not going to just fuck on somebody just cause. I mean, not if I'm not gaining nothing out of there. Yeah. I can do it myself, and I can probably do it the best. So
how important? So one of the things that I think about, or we've talked about in our sex life, is how important it is.
Sex.
Yeah. So how would you say I think I know this answer, but I think it would be cool to hear you talk about it now or like articulate it. How important is that to you now? Or and then, right? Like how important is it to you, period, I guess?
I guess
has that changed?
It definitely had changed. I guess then it wasn't because you don't know what if you never had, right? So it's like I didn't come from a relationship where sex wasn't an issue for us per se. We had other issues, but sex wasn't it. Yeah. We did that well. And for me, it's like I needed the other things to fall in line so I could be sexual. Because if I'm stressed about 13 other things, my coochie ain't getting wet. I ain't thinking about no dick.
Yo, I've heard that.
Get the fuck from around here
like,
and go.
You could be the finest dude, have the stroke game tight, have all that, but if
I'm not
if
that
somebody's
girl.
stressed about you or they not rocking with you, it's not. Yeah, it's staying dry.
Money makes me come. So I needed things to be in alignment to where I had no financial stressors. Things around what we were trying to build were in order and took care of. So I'm a go-getter in that aspect. And I'm just like, I ain't thinking about no dick. Listen, where our credit? What's it hidden for? Can we buy this? Can we go here? You know what I'm saying? So, again, sex wasn't a priority. Now, obviously,
foreplay was Equifax.
Man. Ting-a-ling-a-ling. Looking like that. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah, I got this new FICO score for you, baby.
Period. But no, as I obviously got into the dating pool, I think that was one thing I started to discover, like, okay, it's important. I would definitely rank it, right? Because obviously, what else is somebody bringing to the table? And I felt like, obviously, all the ain't shit niggas had decent to good dick, but nothing else. And then it was like, motherfuckers was about something like, your sex is trash. And I don't even know if you're teachable at this moment. Like, I just, so we didn't have sexual chemistry, because I feel like that has to be a thing too. Like, and sometimes it could start off there, but then it's like, you could do one thing and I'm just like, I don't like that.
I do. Look, we're going to get to this. I got a question for you in the Patreon. Don't let me, the Patreon portion of this. Okay. Don't let me forget. I'm going to say it right now. I want to know when you felt the sexual chemistry with us. Because, again, that wasn't where we started off at. No, and I want to be clear. So this is a good segue. One, and maybe this is just a dude thing or not. But no, that's not true. I have a lot of female friends that I don't feel a sexual desire for. Right? But, like, for you, I was like, damn, she's banging. Like, I was trying to fuck off Joe. For sure. I had them 2 shirts on, thought that it was good. Look, I didn't realize how high the bar was with you, but, like, I was very clear. I'm attracted, and if I can, I am. Him is. If I can, I'm going to. And, we've talked about there were other things, like I was very invested in our friendship and that, and this is the way things played out. They played out good, and that wasn't a part of what we originally were on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lead up to that. Courting is what you would call it. You wanted to be courted.
I wanted to be courted.
So I was like, cool, this is kind of fun. Let me do this. But so there was that, and like for me, the open-ish piece, the of poly was super important to me. Not because it was something that I was like, I'm trying to go get as much, as I can. We could tell who didn't get cutty tonight, right? Like, I wasn't trying to get that, per se, but I knew that I needed experiences because I came out of a situation where that was sexless. I remember we were in a marriage counseling session, and our therapist was like, well, how many times a week do you have sex? And I was like, none. And she was like, well, it gets better. She was like, wait, what? I said, well, she said, okay, well, how about a month? I said, none. Wait, what? And then was like, will you tell me? And I said, I would say like once a quarter. And I said, it's not even necessarily sex. Like, it might be oral but like very, very, very rarely penetration. Like, we went years without penetration.
That's crazy.
At the end of our relationship. And Tiffany jumped in and was like, no, that's not true. It's once a season. Her therapist was like, yeah, once a quarter.
Yeah, that's quarterly.
And so for me, it was like I had lost all confidence. right? Like, I was like, what is this? Me? I came out with a complex. I'm not even, and we're in the Patreon, we're going to tell a story about that night. That's why I was so like, wait, that was the first night? Okay. We're going to tell that story. Because if that was the first night I was fuckable, salute to you. That's what I'm going to say. Well, we're going to tell that story in the Patreon. We'll just say it was, I remember being like, oh, we're going to have to move on from that. There's no coming back. But here we are. But it was super important. So back to trying to connect these dots, like the idea of being openness, the idea of not jumping straight into another committed thing was super important because I needed experiences. I was serious, and I said this in one of these episodes about trying to figure out what my type was. Yeah. Right? So it was like I didn't want to be that white dude who was like attracted to a certain, without even knowing it, like, oh, I'm fetishizing blackness because I'm attracted to these certain things. I wanted to be able to articulate, and I wanted to be able to experience all the things that were there to experience. And so while I was feeling you, it was bomb to not have the pressure of like, I wasn't on the low. I would, like, we've talked about it, right? Like I could say like, no, I got this. Yeah. And it made it I'm not gonna lie, like it made it easy to be like, okay, I'm courting you, but on days we're not to get like, there's other things, other people I could rock with that Absolutely. I could get certain things from if I needed to. And you were always very clear about like,
I wasn't sucking no dick.
She was very clear about that.
Listen, y'all, I was like, we already got to suck the white man's dick in this world. I'm not doing it literally, physically. It's not happening.
Well, yeah, you were very clear about that.
I told him, you better go ahead.
You also said that.
Better go on somewhere. Yeah. I ain't even gonna put your dicks on blast. Whose names is popping up? Oh. Is that her?
Don't do that.
I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just like, hey, answer that, bro.
One of them, we're gonna say COVID was not kind to, and just embarrassed me. God damn, it embarrassed me.
He was pulling hard, y'all.
Oh, all right, stop. Now you knock it off.
We won't go there. We won't go there.
No, so yeah, it was, and again, it was something that I needed to experience, right? Like I knew when I came out of the divorce and I started dating for real, right? Like I was like, there's no way that I'm getting into a relationship. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not that. I am going to date.
You want how?
I'm about to make up for lost time, right? And the reality was I was doing really well at that. Like I was doing really well and I didn't have to put in a lot of effort. Hence the 2 shirts at Amazing Tie.
I'm looking like a clown. Looking stupid.
It was not that bad. Oh shit! It might have been that bad. Cause when we went to Constantine, where I met the twins, and you were like, "Don't come." Don't embarrass me. Don't come dressed ridiculous.
I said, hey.
And I remember asking you, what are you talking about? And I had forgot what I wore to
Amazing Tie. My cousins will talk about you.
Listen, you didn't say nothing at the time. Bless you for that. Like, you're so sweet.
My tribe is my vibe, and we all are like-minded. They would have clowned this motherfucker.
Mylan would have so hard.
I told him 2 things. I was like, okay. I said, well, wear some nice clothes. Wear something cute and casual. What do you mean? Not that shit you wore to Amazing Tie. And I said, don't entertain the boy. So I have twin cousins, and the boy is the character. So what did he do?
I got half of that right.
No, he came dressed to impress. Thank God. He didn't wear no bullshit.
But okay, so hold on. You got to give me something like.
No, you can dress. But first impressions are everything.
Damn, I think. You see how she does me?
No. I think that's really a thing. First impressions are everything. Oh, so obviously, if you're like, okay, you in my mind, we always put this swag to a persona, right? Yeah, so we're chatting, we're texting. I can't recall if we had ever talked. I think we talked briefly before a meeting. Yeah, so you're like, oh, okay. So then now to have an in-person visual,
the like, Under Armour and the t-shirt was.
No, that the fuck? Am I catfished?
Not a catfish.
Like, but no, you redeemed yourself. The second time we linked up, you redeemed yourself.
We linked at Old Max.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Old Max.
Oh, Mexico. And yeah. And so, no, you redeemed yourself. Shout out to Morgan for helping him with the fits.
Okay.
Yeah, you redeemed yourself.
I'm not even gonna do that.
Yeah.
I had it. It was suppressed deep down in me.
No,
it was
I
suppressed.
mean, but I feel like that's one of those things, obviously, right? Even getting back into the dating world and coming out of like finding what is my new swag? What do I like? What makes me feel confident? What makes me feel like, oh, I'm the shit? Again, been there, done that. Like I had went through a weight loss journey and just, you know, like I said, I'm aware a bunch of hairstyles, but I really had to go through the motions of like sifting out all the ugly inner shit to be like, one day had that epiphany. Like that's how I felt like I knew I was whole. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck I was doing, probably cleaning or, you know, some shit. And I was just like, damn, like I look good today. Like I am that bitch. Like you are fly. You know, like I really had that. And
you are beautiful.
I mean, but people say that, but when you don't feel like it, there is nothing anyone can say that you're like, okay, yeah, And oftentimes, especially for women, I mean, and men too, I'm not naive to that. You're like, you just want to fuck. Of course I'm pretty. Of course, you know, of course I'm fine. You just trying to get in my drawers.
Yeah, look, if somebody would have said that to me, they was getting it for sure. They didn't even need to say that to me to get it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But if you like, again, my thing was very different. I went through a weight loss journey myself, right? Realizing, damn, I was depressed in my mind, 100%, right? And we've talked about that and all that. I don't need to harp on that. So like coming out of that and feeling good about myself in a lot of ways, and then having this like, damn, I don't know if I'm good at this anymore. Yeah. Right? Like I don't know what it is, and feeling like at that age, you know, by that time I'm in my 30s, early 30s. And it's like, hey, the women out here ain't got time for you fumbling and trying to figure it out. Like, you better show up and get the job done.
Show up and show out.
Pop out. There was a certain amount of pressure to that, right? And so, again, like, I hold out. I remember, like, Morgan didn't just help me with that. I remember her telling me, like, you don't have to be like this, dude. What are you doing?
You were practicing.
I did have to be like that at that time.
You were practicing.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. Like I don't believe, and I haven't been told by any of the women that I interacted with that I was disrespectful or dishonest, or anything like that. I want to be clear about that, and I think that that's fine. Like some folks we dated and fooled around, and it just didn't work out. Other folks, it was like, nah, we just hook up and occasionally, and it's fine, and then it
is what it is,
right? Yeah. So I'm just saying,
as long as you were transparent and honest, it's like you're giving choice on how you want to fuck with.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't out here trying to be like, oh, I'm misleading and acting like I'm gonna provide something that I'm not. But yeah, it was like, ooh, it was a real thing, and then getting the security or realizing that you weren't gonna get. For me, at least, I'll say I wasn't going to get the security I needed about myself from fucking. Right? Like, it feels good. Yeah, it was great to flirt and the build up and all that. But, like, I had to continue to do my work and develop a love for myself and all that. It wasn't going to come from somebody else. Right? But the practice needed to happen. I'm not going to lie about that. The practice needed to happen. And so I'm grateful for that journey. And in that way, sex was very important to me. One, because it was something that I didn't experience for so long. And it allowed me to get in touch with a different part of myself and of what a relationship could feel like. And I don't mean relationship in like a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, like we're in relationship. I mean like how you relate to somebody else, right? And sharing bodies. Right? Like that's a real thing. Right?
Absolutely.
That's a real thing. And so like the care that you needed to express, the ability to communicate, sex was important in that. To be able to be like, damn, I have to tell you, like, I'm not interested in moving on, but we could cut tonight. Yeah. Like, if you want to have a good time, we can do that tonight and maybe again on Wednesday. But like that, you're not coming. You're not going to be my daughter. You're not coming to the crib. Like, feeling like Drake and Weeknd, like, come see me for once. Like, yeah, I'm only coming to you. You ain't coming to me. I'm only coming to you. It was super important, and then it remains important because of that, really, right? And like, it is one of my love languages is physical touch, for sure.
Absolutely.
Right? So it is a very, very important part. And I remember it would be even, and dudes out there might resonate with this, like, you see the, Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie on the like testosterone commercials and stuff, and they're like, yeah, like even your girl will like it and all that. I remember having anxiety, like, damn, I've had a sexless life, and now I'm about to be 40 and my dick ain't even gonna be able to work.
Oh shit. You was on the damn promotion.
I had a lot of anxiety about that shit. And so that's actually a good place for us to end this and transfer into the story for the Patreon.
Yes.
So if you're listening on Apple and Spotify, thank you so much for listening, for streaming us. You get clips of the video on YouTube. Now we're trying to figure out this podcast thing, y'all.
Absolutely.
So rock with us, please. Subscribing to Patreon allows us to actually make this an even better experience. We might even be able to get multiple camera angles.
Right.
So if it's possible, please do subscribe on Patreon. You get the extended episodes. You get to see us. Hello, Patreon subscribers, if you're watching on Patreon. But either way, we love and appreciate that y'all are here. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please follow us on Instagram, 40 and Us, on Facebook, 40 and Pod. We got banned on TikTok.
They banned us, y'all, after a week. We don't even know what the fuck we did.
I don't have no idea what we did, but we got banned.
We're coming back with a different name.
We're going to figure out how to get back on TikTok. But what happened on TikTok? But we gonna get back on there. Thank you so much for being here. If this is where you jump off, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
If you're